Hello, this is Roger Shouse, and this is Jumpstart Rewind. This is part of our Heaven Bound podcast family. Ezekiel 22 and verse 30. I searched for a man among them who would build up the wall and stand in the gap before me for the land, so that I would not destroy it, but I found no one. Our verse today is one of the favorites that comes from the book of Ezekiel. God was looking, but no one was found. God wanted someone to stand in the gap. No one would do it. The tide of God's wrath was not turned because not one righteous person could be found. Prophet, priest, prince, no one. And there are times today we are in the need for a man to stand in the gap. There are two major areas that men are needed. First, in the home. Far too many men are absentee, unplugged, and not involved. They bring home the bacon, but much too often do little else. The raising of the kids is left to moms or our culture. Drug use, gender confusion, poor work ethic, and massive selfishness may well be the result of a lack of a male leadership and role models in the home. The other place where men are needed to stand in the gap is in God's kingdom. The church is starving and hurting for a lack of leadership. Men could, but they don't want to. Leading, whether in the home or in the church, is an incredible responsibility, but also an incredible blessing. Molding lives, mentoring, and shaping hearts is just a great, great honor to be involved in. Consider some great traits of leaders. First, good leaders have the vision to see what things need to be done. While many will do things if they're asked, the leader is one who sees what needs to be done first. He knows how things could be better. He is always trying to find ways to engage others, to offer encouragement and strengthen hope. Seeing the potential in what could be leads to goals, plans, and making adjustments that will benefit all. The one who is content, satisfied, and even pleased with less than standard service will never raise the bar on those who he is influencing. Just getting by is enough for that guy, but a true leader will find ways to make things even better. We must excel. Being an average Christian isn't good enough and should never be good enough. I saw an interesting definition of what average is. Put one hand on a hot stove and the other hand in your freezer. Take the high and the low, and then that's average. According to that, you should be comfortable. But you would not. One hand is freezing and the other's on fire. So average isn't a good tool to measure by. Second, good leaders have faith in others. He believes in others. He will not try to do everything by himself. He can't. He believes that others can contribute and even bring great ideas to the table. Because a good leader believes in himself, he will be one of the best cheerleaders the church has. He'll support young men giving their first lessons. At home, he'll praise his children for doing good jobs. Third, good leaders are transparent and have great communication. One of the saddest things I hear is when people complain, "We don't know what's going on around here." There are times for shepherds to keep things among themselves as they work through delicate situations in the lives of others, but there is also time to let the church know what's going on. Discipline, goals, plans, special needs, all those things come from two-way conversations. Shepherds nor dads are mind readers. They can't know unless we tell them. We might pick up on some things, but many of us are very good at wearing masks and keeping things close to the vest. Then when things start unraveling, too often we complain that no one helped. They couldn't help because they didn't know. An atmosphere in which people are not afraid to speak their mind is kindness and healthy and very good. Talking to the shepherd should be viewed as something that's healthy, not going to the principal's office. Fourth, good leaders must have the conviction to do what is hard. There are many wonderful upsides to leading, but there are times when the leader, whether in the church or at home, must be the bad guy. He must say what needs to be said. He can't allow others to view him as a reason to back away from what needs to be done. Discipline in the home and in the church are not some of the precious memories that we always hold on to. Those are tough moments. But a good leader realizes that discipline is a teaching moment, and people can be made better through those things. A man who doesn't have a backbone won't do well in those moments. A man can be talked out of things, won't do well in those moments. Those times are packed with emotions and energy. The good leader will stay the course and keep pointing the way to the Lord. Finally, a good leader extends praise generously and doesn't blame others. He makes others feel good. He recognizes the good that others are doing. Pats on the back, an occasional shout-out are common from good leaders. Our political climate could learn from this. Every time something backfires, the blame begins, and rarely, if ever, does the buck stop where the president is. At home, this hurts. In the church, this hurts. This leads to separation between leaders and others. This kills the spirit of motivation and the desire to volunteer. Getting blamed enough times can cause a person simply to quit. A man in the gap. God couldn't find one in Ezekiel's days. I wonder if he could find one today. Thank you so much for listening.